What's up, you guys? We're here for our midweek alchemy message. Hope you're doing well. I'm burning up, tired. I just got in from work, but this is my Friday, so I'm excited. All right, so from the wild unknown archetypes, we have iron revisiting us this week. We have the golden rose. And we have ash. Underneath iron, we have two of pentacles. Underneath the golden rose, we have ace of pentacles. And underneath ash, we have the emperor. So I think it's interesting that on Monday, in the first card's position, we had the flame with 7 of cups. And so we were talking about how Saturn has just recently gone retrograde in Aries, which is helping us reevaluate and recalibrate and relook at our plans and our methods and our approach and our options and make sure that everything is the best choice for what we're doing, making sure that we are breaking habits that are dissipating our energy, time, resources, and getting in the way of what we really want. So we're cutting out all the things that are not in alignment, and that's giving us so much more strength and energy. At the same time, on another level, we understand that it's God, the creator, who's providing us our strength, our intellect, our inspiration, our energy, right? And the creator is the one protecting and providing for us, whilst at the same time, we have to also show up and make an effort. We're the physical, manifestations here. And so in order for God's good works to be done in this world, we are the vessels delivering that. So we are the ones doing the work. So knowing that we are ultimately empty, or we empty ourselves of our own personality, we then become clear channels to allow for the light to flow through us, where our will doesn't get in our way, our ego doesn't get in our way, our lazy, sort of tired, fleshy nature doesn't get in our way. So the focal point on Monday was to look at the ways that our indecision and staying sort of in planning and dream world, and maybe thinking about what we want to do and talking about what we want to do, but not taking steps toward that thing, all of that is dissipating our energy. And so we need to refocus and really reset our intention and shift our behavior, shedding away all those things that are sabotaging us. So having done that, we are here. We have the iron card showing up again. And the iron card talks about stable, strong materials. Excuse me. That have been forged in the fire, that are sturdy and strong. Bridges, highways, infrastructure, buildings. They use steel to build those, to give strong bones to structures and infrastructure. So the iron is like our grit and our strength and our focus that we're building, that we're gaining all of this strength from the creator. The more that we understand that, the creator's providing, I don't have to do this all on my own. Yes, I have to show up and do my part, but the fate of how it all turns out is ultimately up to the creator. And what can help me is me proactively trying to make myself more like the creator, to try to be the best version of me that I can be. So I think that we are, as we're moving through the week, we're gaining more strength in shedding and breaking bad habits. We're recognizing negative thought patterns when they spring up, and we're better able to interrupt those and shift our thinking, turn the channel in a positive direction. Because our thoughts and our ruminating, it starts to affect our feelings, which then affect our moods, and it all just snowballs. So we're better able to save our energy in many ways now. It's like we're maintaining an emotional groundedness that's not all up and down and all over the place. So that saves our energy and our willpower and our focus. We are honing in on literally like our the practical things like our schedule and the things that, might dissipate our time and energy, like, mindless scrolling or getting sidetracked. And then also too, just being able to be more decisive also saves your energy. When you're going back and forth and you're like weighing out all the options, it really drains you of your willpower and your strength. So the more that we discipline ourselves to the efforts of self-mastery and maintaining this awareness of self, the more it's helping us stay strong and consistent in our efforts, and it's helping us balance all the things that we need to do. Two of Pentacles is about juggling multiple priorities, but not getting weighed down in the process. Bringing a sense of light and funness to it, and that joy makes the work seem light and easy. So we're stronger, we've got better discipline, we've got better focus. Saturn is helping us be more disciplined. Even though we want to maybe rush forward because of that Mars energy, and this Mars is represented with iron, we need to slow down and just take our time to do things correctly. And think about what we're doing. Do things with strategy and do things from a place of checking in and like, is your intuition leading you in this direction? Is your intuition whispering that there might be another option, right? So just taking our time to tune inward right now and get that guidance from above, because it's like we're aligning with this higher purpose and we're bringing more purpose to the things that we do. It's not necessarily that we are changing careers or jobs. Maybe some people are, but I think we're learning how to bring more focus to what we're doing and more purpose and put more heart into it. But also some of us might have side projects or things that we want to see realized that, we're having to put a lot of additional like discipline in and set aside time for. And so everything that is pulling at our attention is taking us away from that. So just honing in and being intentional with how do I use my energy and my time, and is this in alignment with my values, right? Can I bring a sense of purpose to this? Even when I'm working at my restaurant job, I can go into work with a sense of purpose that I want to bring light to others, that I want to show others goodness and kindness and leave them with a positive impression. I can set good intentions and be an example of the light everywhere I go, including when I'm here, literally, being a channel, like a TV channel of light. Okay, so having, finding a better rhythm in balancing and juggling your tasks. Oh, also, this is what keeps coming up for me to bring up. So the 3-week period that we're in right now, my teacher David said it today, and I meant to write it down so I could say the word. It's a compound Hebrew phrase with several words involved. So I can't remember the name of the beginning of this holiday. So it spans over 3 weeks. It's an opening in time and space, this cosmic window that allows like this direct light of the Creator to come in. And it's just like we're exposed to all of this raw light without the ozone layer. Imagine that brightness. And so there might be some intensity. It might feel like pressure in your life in certain areas. Now, this is all happening in an effort to just have a sudden up level for yourself, right? The Creator's trying to take you to your next level. So you might experience the next 3 weeks, because the light that's coming in is so intense and so unfiltered. You may experience tests and challenges, but those are only there so that you can like pass it like an initiation and grab that talisman. So any of your negativity that presents itself over the next 3 weeks, be grateful for that moment that triggered you, because you need to witness this negativity and you need to call it for what it is. And then that is your moment where you can begin real transformation. And so what happens is that during these 3 weeks, the effort that we make to transform our negativity, particularly if it's something that's difficult for us, that creates, it's like exponentially increases the amount of miracles we can reveal during these 3 weeks, because things are so much harder and we're so much more on edge and our emotions are so much more like fragile. It's like, if we can keep it together and not become reactive and not go into spirals, then that is revealing so much light. But if we can actually go further than that and repair where there has been division, if we can forgive where we've been holding a grudge, if we can come to a compromise or heal a relationship, bring unity where there's division, right? And how much division is there right now with everyone's extreme political divide? So many people in the same family, and I myself am no different. But if you can find ways to take steps towards improving those relationships and bringing the gap, closing the gap of division and bringing the love and unity into your situation. You don't have to agree with people, but you can accept the person. You don't have to agree with how they are or what they believe in or how they behave, but we don't have to hate one another. We don't have to wish harm on one another. We don't have to cast evil eye or evil tongue. And in fact, if we pray for our enemies during this time, that reveals so much more miracles and abundance and healing. Like, there could be miraculous levels of healing right now. If you have an ailment, but you're working on like a spiritual thing to overcome, that could open up an opportunity to heal that ailment, right? So it's really worth it over the next 3 weeks to try not to lose it, to try not to become reactive, clapping back or popping off, or if you feel depressed and distressed and you get downtrodden, or, try not to get yourself worked up into negative emotions. Try not to be too needy of anything or anyone, and be fulfilled with knowing that like the Creator's got you. Everything's going to be fine. I need nothing, right? I need nothing. So the next cards are the Rose, the Golden Rose, and the Ace of Pentacles. So the Golden Rose is our alchemical work. The rose is a symbol of the soul. Oh, one more thing about the 3-week period. My Kabbalah teachers were talking about it in one of the episodes of their podcast this week, and they were pointing out that this 3 weeks is not necessarily the best time to start new things, but it is, like we said, a very powerful time to prepare to start new things and to do work on yourself. Like, the work you do on yourself over this 3 weeks will give you exponential results compared to if you tried to do literal, like, physical new projects this week. They're not going to be like really supported. We're going into Mercury retrograde anyway, and the Saturn going retrograde in Aries. Everything is asking us to pause, slow down, do the inner work on your soul. And then also kind of maybe be working on something on the side, but it's not necessarily the ideal moment to launch or to plant the new seed now. Pre-production, plan, but like really focus your main energy, the bulk of your energy on personal growth, transformation, healing, forgiveness, all of that stuff, because that can yield far more fruit for you. Life-changing levels of fruit, rather than just trying to force something to get going right now. So I know it's frustrating, but you'd be surprised how fast 3 weeks can go by. So hang tight. So we're doing the work on ourselves. The rose is a symbol of the soul, right? And the soul is something that we're working on lifetime after lifetime. And there are outer bits of the soul that are more apparent to us, and then there are internal deep parts of the soul that are a mystery even to ourselves, right? The alchemical golden rose represents the outer petals represents what's open to us, what we can see, what we can work with, like the outer planets that govern our personality and our lives and our comings and goings. And the inner petals, the way they get tighter and spiral in where you can't even see the inner petals anymore, those are like the unknowable mystery of the creator, of the other realms, of the upper realms, of the mysteries of the Torah, the depths that we strive to, but they never quite reveal themselves fully. And it's an ever ongoing effort and an ever ongoing joy, delving and penetrating the mysteries of beingness, of existence, of God, of the Torah, of it all. It's the unknowable, but it is that desire to go after the unknowable and get a little bit closer and a little bit closer. So this is the work that we do, on ourselves and in building a relationship with the Creator, and moments and bits are revealed to us over time. And so the way that these two cards are combined with the Ace of Pentacles, to me, it is representing the fact that we have been doing this work, and even though we're never fully arrived and it's never fully complete, there is something though that has shifted in us, and there are seeds that have already been planted that are starting to break soil. So we're starting to see the results of the ways that we've changed over the last few years. It has gradually shifted the way that we make decisions and the way that we operate and live and move and have our lives. So gradually over time, things are bound to shift. They're bound to change. So new things are starting to show themselves, right? Maybe, relationships that have been rocky or you've been unsure about, maybe those are taking a positive turn. Maybe your career is having a moment where there's new opportunities and new life to it. Maybe you've got new ideas that you're excited to work on. Either way, there's new things happening, new opportunities starting to sprout. And this can also represent new virtues and aspects to your personality that are starting to come through that you feel like has taken you maybe a long time to get there, right? Maybe you've been trying to master your some of your vices. Maybe I have a fiery temper. If I get a short fuse, it's I can't hold it in. I start evil eyeing, I start evil tonguing. I'm just I want to pop off. So it's those things for me I've worked on for a long time, and it feels like I only ever make the littlest amount of progress, but it seems like I am doing better. And when I think about it, I think about how far I've come from where I was. And so I'm grateful for that. It's starting to show fruit. All right. Now, there's also this aspect of ash. So back to the idea that we're not wanting to rush forward yet. Think about the phases of a phoenix. There is the hatching of the phoenix, the birth of the phoenix, the magnificent life and manifestation of the phoenix as this mythical creature. And then when the life has come to its fullness, it sets on fire it burns to ash, and then the cycle starts again. The phoenix rises up from the ashes. We are in this moment in an ash phase. Like, as we speak, what was is ash. We are about to rise up and crack open from a new egg from the ash. But we are in this moment of limbo while we're pulling ourselves back together. We're simmering and kind of like we're like embers, right? And we're smoldering, and we're thinking about the past, and we're letting things resolve, and we're reflecting, and we're embodying the revelations that we've had, and we're sifting through all these lessons. What am I taking with me? What am I leaving behind? What is not in alignment anymore? What's not true for me anymore? What is like staying in the past and not coming forward? But the things that are coming forward, the things that are left, as a part of our personality, the things that we're keeping, the things that still remain within us, those are our strengths. Those are our gifts. Those are the things that cannot be destroyed, but only strengthened and only made more brilliant. So letting all of that settle and be brought into the newness that we are becoming. This is the stuff that we're being made of. And so in this 3-week period, we are transitioning into the fulfillment and the fullness of the consciousness of the emperor. The emperor is not just one king over one kingdom, but the combination of all 4 kings ruling over many kingdoms. So it's like we've been working on the different aspects of our lives, and we've made significant progress in all these areas. In our physical, mundane comings and goings, we're learning how to be more functional. We're learning how to keep our nervous system regulated so we're not been out of shape, and we've got more, energy and more productivity. We have mastered a certain level of our mental landscape, and we can detach from our thoughts and not be completely at the mercy of a thought storm or, the negative tape playing. We can understand, oh, okay, I am not my thoughts. I can take a step back and detach from these and say, no, I'm changing my thought. I'm not choosing this thought. This is not my thought. I'm choosing another thought. We've made it to some degree of mastery with our emotions, and we can be emotionally sober and sovereign and not just be a complete slave to our feelings or a completely in reactivity to those feelings. We can feel the feelings and not run from them, but we can also tune inward to our intuition below the choppy waters of the storm. And we can also consult with our reason and logic as well, and use all of that information to then proactively respond rather than react to life. But we can find sovereignty and in our self-control so that we can actually make free will choices and not just be reflexive and in autopilot and in, subconscious response mechanisms. So we have the emperor. We're starting to embody that emperor energy. And so as we are being rebirthed and we're cracking open in this new chapter, we're going to find that we're feeling a lot stronger. We're a lot wiser. We own our choices. We're a lot more decisive. We are we're a leader with more conviction and more courage and more heart and more compassion. And so the only thing with the emperor, though, is that we have to be careful not to be too overbearing or stern or become the tyrant, right? So at the same time as we are taking on all this discipline and restriction and focus, We don't want to lose our ability to play and let loose and let spirit come in and be spontaneous either. And then we don't want to make that we don't want to get like too hard of an exterior, closed off, just like completely like a one-track mind, right? Tunnel vision. We want to stay open. We want to be compassionate. We want to be like the queens, and still have that warmth and nurturing charisma, but also have the strong boundaries and discipline and leadership to show up consistently for ourselves so that we can have an empire and not just one measly kingdom or two, right? So I love this. Basically, the result of our efforts are starting to show fruit. We are becoming stronger. We're having stronger thresholds and being able to maintain our focus and set intention and follow through. We're better able to juggle all of the responsibilities and tasks and still keep a lightness about us and be more proactive and productive within our efforts. The inner mysteries, as we have sought after learning to understand God's word better and learning to build a stronger relationship with Source and learning how to go inward and do the inner work of healing within ourselves. This is bearing fruit within both our virtue, but also in our material lives. Things are going to start, I think, becoming more abundant and more harmonious for us. And this period, this next 3 weeks, we're going to be kind of in that ash where we're not premiering new things. We're not rising up out of the ashes yet. We're still under the embers. We're processing, we are reflecting, we are gathering our wherewithal and our strength. But when we do rise, we are rising into the next level. This is the highest authority in the tarot, right? And it is our own authority that we must claim so that we're not looking to others to tell us what to think or what to believe or how to feel. Right? Because that's what's going on in the world these days. It's someone's in your face every second, trying to steer you one way or the other, right? So we have to stand strong in knowing who we are and what we stand for and what we believe in and what matters most. All right, you all, that is all for tonight. Tomorrow we will be back for our weekly romance oracle message. Until then, I hope y'all have a good one. Peace. We're beginning to feel the spiritual fruits of our labors, which is a sign of a coming material shift as well. Through our spiritual diligence, our connection to the Creator is growing stronger and more consistent. Think of it like a radio frequency or Wi-Fi connection. We cut in and out when our lower consciousness is calling the shots. When we fall into reactive patterns of thinking, feelings, and behaviors that usually result in some form of chaos and suffering. The goodness of the fulfillment of a solid connection far outweighs the instant hit of gratification you feel in a moment tempted into negativity. As we strengthen our practice, we begin to feel a distinct sadness when we've done something to sever this connection. This shows we're becoming more sensitive to the feelings of being disconnected, which means we're beginning to establish our connection more often and stronger. We value this and become more intentional about everything in an effort to maintain it. As a result of our consistent efforts, new things are beginning to grow in our lives. The internal transformation is beginning to materialize. We're in a period of ash. What was is no more. Soon we will rise, a new creature, but first we must sift through what has passed and what remains. We must mourn, forgive, release, resolve, break the sins and curses of the generations. We must lay it to rest. And what remains are the things that withstood the fire, the iron, the precious metals, the gemstones, which are forged, fortified, and protected and perfected in the heat. We rise, rebuilt upon the rock. We are reborn, the emperor, having mastered a new level of self-mastery and self-control that has birthed wisdom, understanding, compassion, love, sharing, patience, goodness, leadership, and personal sovereignty. This has not come through our own strength, but through emptying ourselves of our fearful and selfish nature and choosing again and again to choose to become more like the Creator, more Christlike, which is not our reflexive nature, but a discipline one must adopt and keep.